Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be reading Muichiro's listener about me. So let's get into it. Maybe, maybe you shouldn't have cooked today. You realize, only a couple minutes too late, as you roll out of the house and stare at the fire engulfing it. You're too terrified. Too many things going on in your mind. The things that you would lose. The painting that you had bought a couple days ago, and you meant to treasure it forever, and it was probably now gone too. You had called the firefighters, and now you had realized what you had forgotten. Seeing your cat on the balcony, meowing at you, and your heart torn too, fear engulfing your very being. What do you do now? Do you just go in and try to get her? But then wouldn't you both burn? You had no idea what to do, until the firefighter looked at you. Soft green eyes kind. Stay here, ma'am. I'll take care of this, was all he said, before he went into the house, grabbed your cat, who was always feisty and difficult, but you seemed to trust him, going into his arms, as he wrapped her safely, and went out of the house with her. And your heart was fluttering. Maybe he was just doing his job, and maybe you liked how he was doing it too much. He saved your cat, and as the other firefighters were hosing down your house, the fire quieting down, you felt like, well, you didn't know what to feel like, but his eyes were mesmerizing, and the way he was able to deal with the situation, calming you down, and your cat, who never liked anyone else, but was clinging to him and refusing to go to you. It was definitely something. Thank you. Thank you so much, you said to him. Are you all right? You ask him, and he nods, stroking your cat's neck and watching as she purred. She's a sweet kitty. What's her name? Her name is Miro, and, well, she doesn't like strangers, but you're the first one she's taken to like this. You say shyly, blushing, and he seems a little flustered at the comment, smiling at you. Well, I'm glad to be. I could always come by and see Mira again, he says, raising his eyebrow a little bit. The suggestion in his voice, and the way he was saying things. He was not just going to see Miro. He wanted to see you. You look like a mess. In fact, right now, you look like you had just walked out of your house because it was on fire. Because that's what happened. So a total mess. And yet, he had written out his number on paper, gave it to you, smiled, before handing you your cat and leaving. And you would remember to stay until you had called him a couple days later, and he happened to actually keep his promise and come to your home with flowers and chocolates, telling you that it was just so you can appease Mira's owner. Well, you were Mira's owner. Why was he being so sneaky about this? You had no idea. But then, as he sat down on the couch and he sat next to him, your cat wandered over to him and lay down on his lap while you watched them. Muichiro looked at you, his smile soft, and there was a look in his eyes that you couldn't quite describe. What's going on? You whisper, a little bit anxious, and not really used to this kind of thing. But then he leans in and kisses you. I've been wanting to do this ever since the day we met. I know maybe I'm asking too much, and maybe I've already done too much by kissing you like this. But if you want, we could be something. I want to try this out, he said. blushing, and somehow his bold personality from the day you met, while he was being the brave firefighter who had saved the day, was disappearing a little bit. And you started to see the real him, his nervousness and anxiousness, the way he actually wanted you and was nervous about it. And for some reason, it made you like him even more. You didn't want him to be brave and bold all the time. You just wanted him to be true, to be his vulnerable self in front of you, to trust you enough with that. So for him to do that and tell you his true feelings, it made you smile and feel loved and wanted. Maybe loved was a bit of an exaggeration, as the two of you had only met twice, but maybe you just felt liked and wanted in a way that you have not for a long time. So you nodded, grabbing his hands and squeezing them, before you leaned in to give him a kiss on your own. Yes, he was shy and nervous, but that didn't mean that he couldn't kiss you at all. You wanted this, the same way he's wanted it. And once you pulled away, you were blushing just as he was, as the two of you smiled at one another, staring and waiting for the other in front of you to break the silence. He looked at you for a couple moments before you just let out the words that you've been waiting to. You know, when you grabbed my cat and came out like that, I think I fell for you, he said shyly, giggling because it sounded so silly when said out loud. But then he smiled. Well, I fell for you. Maybe it was your eyes, maybe the way you looked at me, but I didn't realize when. But when I left to go home, I couldn't stop thinking about you, and I was so relieved they gave you my number, he said, while you smiled, wrapping your arms around him and feeling yourself relax. You were anxious that maybe he turned out to be a different person. After all, you had only met once. But you were glad things were turning out to be good for you. Maybe they were going a bit fast. Maybe you had no idea about who he was or his story, and a lot of things about him. You had texted before, during those few days apart, just to get to know him a little bit more before bringing him into your house. But right now, you realize that he's a little bit different, but in the best of ways, in a way that made you feel safer, and a little bit more excited for what was about to happen between the two of you in the upcoming days. You knew this thing would go on longer than most, and whatever you have tried in the past would never measure up to this. You just had that feeling in your heart.